Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. I'm Tom Mitchell, author of How to Rob a Bank and That Time I Got Kidnapped.
And I'm Dylan Mitchell, author of Frogman. Thanks for watching our first lockdown writing workshop.
I want to start by reading you an extract from a famous book. As I'm reading it, I want you to think about what you learned about the character that's narrating the story, that's telling the story, and also don't zone out. Okay, Dylan?
Yeah.
While I was young, I lived upon my mother's milk, as I could not eat grass. In the daytime, I ran by her side, and at night, I lay down close by her. When it was hot, we used to stand by the pond in the shade of the trees. When it was cold, we had a nice warm shed near the plantation. As soon as I was old enough to eat grass, my mother used to go out to work in the daytime and come back in the evening. There were 6 young colts in the meadow besides me. They were older than I was. Some were nearly as large as grown-up horses. I used to run with them and had great fun. We used to gallop all together, round and round the field, as hard as we could go. Sometimes we had rather rough play, for they would frequently bite and kick as well as gallop. So, Dylan, everyone that's watching, what's strange about the narrator? And were you zoning out?
I wasn't zoning out. It's a horse.
Good. And how can you tell that?
You told me beforehand and I'm reading the script.
Thanks, Dylan. Well, the focus for today's task is point of view. One of the most important things in writing a story is getting the voice right. Even if you're writing in the third person, saying he, she, or it did this or that, there's still a narrative voice there, and that voice is drawing the reader's attention to certain things and certain details about your story, about the setting. So if we think back to the horsey extract I just read, it's from Anna Sewell's Black Beauty. There are certain moments that not only flag up that the narrator is a horse, but also what type of character that horse is too, if that doesn't sound too weird.
He likes eating grass and galloping around fields.
He does, and don't we all? The horse's freedom at this point is contrasted against later events in the novel, but we're not worrying about that now. We're worrying about you people out there, maybe Dylan later, writing something that really explores point of view, and in particular the way in which the narrator or the teller of the story affects the way that the story is told. So what I'm going to do, and this is the task, I'm going to give you a character and a problem, and you're going to describe the character moving through a certain setting, a certain place, and dealing with their particular problem or issue as they go along. Dylan's going to tell us in a sec what that setting is, if that's okay, Dylan.
Yeah.
Massively enthusiastic there, mate. The key here is not being explicit about your character or their problem, not telling us outright, but what you need to do is really suggest the issue. So, for instance, if you end up with an English teacher who has the problem of a naughty son, don't start your description with, I'm an English teacher and my son is naughty. Think about how you might suggest these things. Is the character wearing a corduroy jacket with a load of books under his arm or something like that? Or has he dropped lots of marking as he's running away, running to the train? Okay, so let's go with the setting then, Dylan.
Your character's in a city train station, rushing to catch a train. It's in the middle of the day and it's summer. It's sunny and there's lots of people around.
Good. So it's a city train station. It's the summer, rushing to catch a train. Got that? So now's the time to die. And by that I mean roll a die. I'm one of those pedantic people who insist die is the singular version of dice, by the way. Do you agree with that, Dylan? No? Okay, good. So Dylan's going to hold up a piece of paper. Let's get the right piece of paper. And he's going to hold it so it's in camera frame like that. That's good, Dylan. Well done. So it might be poor. And so the number that your die falls on should relate to the character that you get. What is the character that you get? Dylan's holding it up without dropping it. So I've rolled, 6, which would mean I'm an escaped prisoner. And then
Fugitive.
Next the problem, fugitive, yeah. And so if we're the escaped prisoner, this is our issue, something we've got to deal with as we're running for the train. 6 again! You're scared of trains. So there we go. So you are
Fugitive.
a fugitive who's scared of trains, running to get a train. What a bit of descriptive writing that would be. Good stuff. Thanks, Dylan. So now you have a character and a problem, or the issue. And Dylan, remember they're in a train station, aren't they? You going to tell us that bit?
Remember they're in city train station catching a train. It's in the middle of the day and it's summer. It's sunny and there are lots of people around.
Good. So this is the task then. Writing as your character in the first person, that means using the word I want you to describe their journey, perhaps from the moment of stepping into the station and running for the train. They'll need to check the platform too, remember, that kind of stuff. But the story's not important. It's your description of the character and their problem that's key here. What would an English teacher notice, say, that a Premier League footballer wouldn't, or a 13-year-old girl wouldn't? If you're stuck with how to begin, just go with the line, I saw the station ahead of me. You're not going to write something amazing first time round, don't worry about that, because writing is rewriting. The issue and the thing you should be worrying about is showing your character and their issue and their problem as they go towards the train without explicitly telling us it. Thinking about how the way they tell the story is influenced by who they are and what their particular issue is. Okay? So, Dylan, imagine you've got a retired astronaut who's desperate for the toilet. What might you write to suggest these things?
I could say I'm wearing a medal saying first man in space.
Yes, a medal with first man in space. And that could be like bouncing on his chest as he's running for the train. Doesn't have to be a man, of course. So what about needing a wee? What could you put for that, Dylan?
I could put I will burst if there's not a toilet on the train.
Good. So the woman, astronaut, retired, running, worried about bursting. If there's not a toilet on the train. Great. So I'll put these instructions under the YouTube video as well. But you're showing us the character and their particular issue through how they behave on the way to catching the train, how they tell the story. All right. The students I teach are always mad to know how long a piece should be. As long as a piece of string, I normally say. But for today, let's just go with a page of A4. I'm thinking you're doing this on a computer. You'll be using size 12 font. When you've finished, you could read it to someone, see if they guess what character you've got, what their issue is, as well as whether they get the train or not. It might even be fun. We'd love to read some of these here too, so feel free to email anything to
lockdownworkshop, that's all one word, @gmail.com.
Good.
All in capital letters.
Good stuff, Dylan. lockdownworkshop@gmail.com. So have fun. I'll see you on Wednesday. Please share this with anyone you think might be interested. I'm on Twitter as Cakes the Brain, and Instagram as Thomas Charles Mitchell. And
keep smiling.
good stuff.